Hey friends, happy Wednesday. Something you may not know about me is I'm always trying to logic why the fuck do people do the things that they do. Listen to this crazy theory I have about why 45 people love him the way that they do. So a little earlier, Sapa and I were talking about, conservatives and their love for their hero worship for Republican politicians and shit like that. Slappa told me that Republicans have always worshipped politicians. I didn't grow up in Republican household, so I really didn't know. Aside from Obama, I didn't really see anything about politicians at all in our house. And then I was like, well, what about George Bush? They didn't really do that with George Bush. And Slappa was just like, and then I was like, oh shit, they even talked about this on King of the Hill. Season 5, Episode 1, The Perils of Polling. Look at this disappointed face. So in that episode, Bobby Hill saves a pig. Remember, not this pig, not today. And they get a chance to meet George Bush, which leads to a limp handshake by George W. And Hank being absolutely just ruined by this. Happy, surprised, disappointed. He went on about it. Even Reaganomics. People really thought that shit was working. It doesn't work. Trickle down does not work. Republicans really like their politicians, a lot. While the rest of us couldn't care less, right? But why is 45 so different than the rest, right? I really think it's because they don't want to admit that they made a mistake. And I'm not trying to condone their behavior, but I really want to know why they love them so much. And I think it's because of this, because they're too afraid to admit that they fucked up. They were so excited to get that black guy out of the office. And people called them out on possibly just thinking only that and nothing else, that they completely started dismissing everything. And now it's this out of control thing that they have to keep defending. People were already giving them shit for all those effigies they were making about Obama and how excited they were about him leaving and stuff. People started being like, you look kind of sus, you look kind of racist. And because they kept getting accused of such, they started just shutting down and not listening. So they kept not listening and dismissing. Again, just like in King of the Hill. Season 2, Episode 20, Junkie Business. Hank does not hire the highly qualified Maria Montalvo, as he says it, and instead hires an addict. And because he's getting away with all this stuff because of the Disability Act, everyone in Strickland Propane starts taking advantage. This causes Hank to quit. What's even wilder is Hank eventually quits because he can't take it anymore. And then at the end, you see him getting hired back to his old job. And Maria Montalvo, as he says it, is already working there, hired by Buck. And he never owns up to his mistake. What if that's really what's going on with 45 supporters? I hope those types figure it out, but I bet they won't.